Cole, the fact that Avery Johnson, the same guy that rushed for 5 touchdowns on a Big 12 football team in his true freshman season, has now had his legs rendered completely lifeless and meaningless. They are not a threat at all. The defense does not have to worry about Avery Johnson's legs at all. Just 2 years later, as a junior, when you should be building and getting better. This was the same Arizona team that gave up 100 yards rushing to him last year. They have neutered Avery Johnson's legs. And I know, people on Twitter, I know Avery is a part of that too. But I think it's very clear. It's been coached into him to not be confident running the ball, not look to run the ball, not try to take off. Noah Fafita, you said it, Cole, he's a pocket passer. And he had a feel for like, hey, I'm getting some heat. I need to make a play. I need to move around. He had some crafty, like kind of old man basketball game to him to make some plays with his feet. And he was 10 times the running threat that Avery Johnson was tonight. Like, that is truly an accomplishment in college football to, as an organization, have rendered Avery Johnson's 23-mile-an-hour speed completely meaningless and useless on this offense. It is unbelievable. I have no idea how they managed to do that.
25 carries now for 62 yards on the season, John, through 4 games for Avery Johnson in a year when we were talking in the preseason pods that we thought he might be Kansas State's leading rusher and that the rushing game would take an extra step for him as he got healthy. And now he looks far worse as a running quarterback. He has no intent to run. On the final drive of the game, there was a 3rd and 6, and he could have taken off and ran, and he didn't. And he forced a bad throw. And as a result, they ultimately end up in a turnover on downs. Like, there are multiple. RG3 pointed it out on the broadcast. Like, he does not want to run. And it is clear that it has been coached into him. Avery Johnson is at a fault too. You got to sometimes just rely on your instincts. But Noah Fafita tonight, John, at the 5-minute mark of the first quarter, had more rushing yards, a career high in rushing yards at 33 than he had in any game in his career. And he's played 30 games. This was his 30th game tonight. Noah Fafita hit the 33-yard mark on his 3rd carry tonight with 5 minutes left in the first quarter. His career high in rushing yards in a game was 24. And obviously he broke that. He had 2 rushing touchdowns in his career heading into tonight. He had 2 rushing touchdowns tonight. Even the Avery Johnson touchdown run, John, I don't even think he got in on, and that should be a TD run. That's an emphatic touchdown for most quarterbacks with his capability. And I will just say once again that when you get into a 3rd and 3 or a 3rd and 2, and it's 4-down territory, if I am an opponent fan base, I'm sitting there thinking, oh, they got this dual threat quarterback. They're going to be able to get 2 yards in 2 plays to get a first down. And yet, when we're watching the game, we feel like 3rd and 2 is like 3rd and 20.
Might as well be a mile. Yeah.
Like I mean, look what they're resorting to. The thing about the baffling thing about what Matt Wells is doing with this offense as part of that, John, is he's when they do roll Avery out on those plays, he's got the tight end right near the line on a little 1-yard route. So you've got the defense already coming up to make a play. Like, I'm not an offensive coordinator. Clearly, I'm not a coach. These guys are smarter than me. But I am baffled by what they are doing from a philosophical, schematic standpoint to utilize his legs. I really don't get it. I mean, John, tonight, Chase Brown has 6 catches for 68 yards. The next leading receiver was Jerron Tibbs with 1 catch for 6 yards. And that's talking about receptions, right? So that's a little bit of a different thing. But they can't run the ball. And we thought this receiving core would be deeper and better than what they had. It's not. Jerron Tibbs has 3 crucial drops on big plays in 3 straight games. I mean, the one that Avery threw up to him one-on-one, he's got to make that play.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that play. Yeah.
You know, like, that's 3 straight weeks over the middle of the field. You got this big-bodied wide receiver you brought in. He can't make the play. Then you watch Trace Spivey, who transferred from Kansas State, make a play, and Logan Bartley drills him over the middle of the field and gets thrown out of the game for targeting, and he hangs on to the ball. who's the tougher team? Who's got the tougher players, the tougher mindset? This isn't a debate of Trey Spivey being better than Jerron Tibbs. That's not what it is, but they got a receiver willing to go over the middle of the field and hang on to the football. And I've watched the guy that got hyped up all offseason in Jerron Tibbs 3 straight weeks not hang on to the football or catch it going over the middle of the field in crucial situations for what could have been big plays. And so that's a mindset thing for me. That's separate from the whole thing about running the football. But this team, you went from the second leading team in the country in yards per carry last year and set the school record in yards per rush to being maybe the worst rushing team we've seen in 30 plus years at Kansas State, probably closer to 40 years. The numbers may not tell you that, like from a yards per carry standpoint. That's because Chase Brown busted a 75-yarder tonight. But K-State ran the ball 24 times for 105 carries. 75 came on a Chase Brown run. The other 23 carries resulted in 30 yards. I mean, it is staggering. A 3-yard run feels like a huge success.
No, that's what I was. Yeah, the Antonio Martin had like this was a 3 and out, of course, but Antonio Martin had like a 4-yard run on 1st and 10 in the second half, where he just kind of lowered his head and moved forward, and there was actually a little bit of a push from the offensive line. Now Martin, all he can do, he's not really elusive, shifty, anything. He wasn't going to make a move, but he could take the ball and run from point A to point B when the offensive line had pushed some people back a couple of yards. And I felt like running around without my pants off celebrating in the living room. I mean, it was like, wow, there weren't 2 guys crashing in on the ball carrier as soon as he touched the football in the backfield that time. I mean, that is where we're at with the running game. I guess, interesting observation. Did Joe Jackson even have a single carry tonight? I mean, he played a little bit, not much. They did legitimately move on from Joe Jackson, but it sure doesn't look like the other options there are much better. We didn't really see Devon Rice either. It was like JB Price and Antonio Martin.
Stupidity. I don't know what they're doing. Devon Rice hasn't been a problem. All of a sudden, and look, Joe Jackson hadn't been good. I mean, I've been critical of his play through as well. But like, if you're going to bench Joe Jackson, yet he's in the game on the last drive of the game, John. So it's like, oh, we're going to bench you, but now it's crunch time. We're going to put you back in the game. I don't know what was the driving decision behind that. And it doesn't matter. Like, your offensive line is awful. They have a 7th-year senior at guard that doesn't pick up twists and stunts and blitzes. And these are experienced football players, guys. I mean, Andrew Langang too. Like, I'm not picking on him tonight necessarily, but like, you've got a lot of guys that have played a lot of football and they don't know, they don't look like they know what they're doing out there. And that's incredibly frustrating.